What up? Randy here, Nerds Templar. Hope you enjoyed the intro music. Perhaps you recognized it, or maybe even saw the little name up there in the top and recognized the name. Perhaps this was the number for the first episode of our own story here, Beyond Lumina, that we have posted 10 episodes on already on stream. We're now going through live viewings of them, of those first 10. And then once we get through those, we're doing 2 a week, Wednesday and Saturday evenings. And once we get through those 10, which will be 5 weeks, 4 more weeks now of it, we're 2 episodes in. Then after that, I'll start releasing the next episodes, and we'll do live viewings of those when they come out, when they are released. But yeah, anyway, here we are with our second episode of the Foundry, Temple Foundry Vodcast, which is related to Beyond Lumina. We're not really going to talk much about Beyond Lumina today, any more than we just did. Although I will say, Discord link now in the description. You can, no one's joined yet, but you can join that if you are so inclined, and either just to chill, or if you have any creative ideas you'd like to throw my way on there, that's maybe the best place to do it. I will of course receive DMs if you want to keep your ideas a little more private. I think that's going to be the best way to share any artwork that anyone wants to send me. If you again feel so inclined to try your hand at maybe some cool art, as simple or as complex as you like. But again, we're making trading card games here. We're making all sorts of games. In fact, before I get into specifically Fantasy Age talk, let us look at, I'm going to show this first. I think this will be a nice way to begin, maybe. Let me see if I can. There you go. Let's do that. All right, one more second, actually. Whoa, what happened? There we go. Okay. So this is my games in, oh wait, it keeps doing something strange here. All right. These are my games in order of development, as it says there. There we go. All right. Wait a second. Yeah, I'm just behind. Okay, always. Stream thing's always so behind. Bring up the right thing so I know what I'm actually looking at. All right. You can't see because I have the Sydney cam over here. Oh, that can go down there. It's too bright, though. You can't see anything there anyway. I figured I'd use it to spy on Sydney, since we're not doing any cards or anything today, or need that camera at all. So here we have the list of all the games, basically. Make it a little, do it that way, do it this way. There, okay. You see, first we have color coded here any age, which basically means that any age that can like play a board game. As long as they're able to sit there and play a board game, they can probably play the ones in green. And of course, especially if they have like a parent or something with them, and like I would say, like 7 to 9, if you have a parent with like a maybe 5 or 6 year old, probably you can maybe even play some of these 7 to 9 year old games. It's 7 to 9 and up is what I'm that's kind of the minimum age, but I gave kind of a range on that just because I'm kind of working on it, see what should work best. But I think these age ranges kind of are fitting. I just have to kind of fill the games into where they would fit as they get tested. But here you see, maybe if we scroll down a little bit, you can see better what some of these, what's going on here with some of them. See V version 0.0.2 there. Some of them have 0.0.0 because I haven't done anything like down here. There's a one that I'm thinking of for Beyond Lumina there. Space Conquest, which was the name of a different game I have here, but I turned it into a Fantasy Age game. But yeah, here's just a list of all the games that I kind of have at least begun to think of in order of development, of course. I just recently decided that these are version 1 games now, the Trips and ILO. I guess I just moved it to, everything was mostly alpha version, I guess you could say, the 0.0.1, 2, maybe 3 or 4. Like you see in these down here. But with Trips, there's an asterisk there because it's pretty much not a game that I can claim as a game that I made. It's just too simple of a dice game. Same with High-Low, which many of these could probably use better names, but High-Low is pretty much ready too. There's not much to that. There's even less to Trips. Both of those are simple, very simple dice games. And then Squares is not, it's simple. It's a very simple game. It's not as much of just like I guess you could say maybe like an unpatentable thing. It's something that, I did actually come up with. It's a bit unique perhaps, but very easy, very simple game. Probably won't have much change in that. A lot of the change will probably just be about a lot of it with a lot of these games is going to be how to make them progress the fastest possible with, and that'll be what kind of game, well, not so much game board, what we'll be looking at, and more so like game accessories to help the game go quicker. Games, that is. Of course, for now at least, we won't be talking too much in detail about any of them, but as we go, we will. And as they, and again, some of these are already at the phase where they've been tested by my family and I. Excuse me, Black Dragon's Lair, which is a Fantasy Age game, was one of my original games that I made. Awesome game, played several times now. That's why it's now in a beta form. I don't think there's going to be any more changes until I can play it with other people in a more serious type of testing environment. When and where that'll be, who knows, but I'm hoping it'll be soonish. That's actually one good thing about the comic shop, and I was hoping to actually make it down to the other collectibles card shop. That's a little further away this weekend. Yesterday, they always have, every Sunday they have Pokemon, so I'll probably maybe try this Sunday to go down there. They're also trying to maybe do Yu-Gi-Oh! Every Monday or on Mondays, so I may also try to get down for some of that. They're going to be doing it today, but I don't think I feel like the whole thing is I never feel like driving down there, so that's the problem. But I'm hoping that these connections, these acquaintances and friendships will be good for, will be kind of utilitarian, I suppose, and that they will hopefully be able to help me perfect these games further, and then actually get them to the point where we can get them to a pre-market phase, right, where we're promoting it, maybe doing a Kickstarter or something for either the games themselves or for the game company, Nerds Templar Games, right? And then at that point, be able to do some final touches and then actually get the products out there. But some of these games I think are going to be pretty awesome. And again, a lot of them we could do video game versions of some of these, some just completely whole video games themselves with no board game type of version, real version, in-person version. But I think the whole thing is playing games to come together, and it's better to play non-video games if you're gonna, shoot for people coming together in community and fellowship with one another. Sure, you can do it with video games, but it's a lot easier with board games and in-person sort of physical games like that. So that's what we're specializing in, at least that's what I'm going for now. But again, honestly, I have several ideas for video games because that's kind of where I started at before I got into doing board games a few years ago. Fantasy Age, so this one is one we've been talking about for a while, and we'll be talking about today for the artwork. We talked about it last time. Fantasy Age Combat, the card game. That's the like one deck card game. And then as you see, I have a note there that it'll have an expansion for even more players to be able to play. So just basically, it's not like something you would go out and collect, although there could be always be like a collectible version of like the entire thing. But again, it's just the one pre-made deck. And again, it will have an expansion, which is just extra cards so more people can play because everyone uses the one deck. It's sort of almost think of it as like an advanced cool fantasy version of Uno. That's kind of what it's like. Not exactly Uno. There's a lot more to it. It's like a mixture between Uno and an actual like traditional trading card game. But again, that's not actually that. It's not really the roles work. It's totally different role wise. I think that's just because of the whole one deckness and the fact everyone's kind of using that and playing cards one after another sort of thing and trying to best the one on top sort of in a sense. Again, eventually, because this is one that's much further along than most games, that's one we could maybe see sooner rather than later. As some of these we'll see later, further down this list. There's about 25 to 30 that I'm actually serious about. And then we have the Fantasy Age Arena Lite. This is one of the older games too, but I needed to hold off on testing because usually I was using my sister's kids as test subjects for them, but they were still a bit too young. I think maybe the oldest can attempt to play this one now, so I may want to maybe have her do that before she gets too old, so then I can again get sort of some kind of gauge on again how young or how old you may need to be able to play Fantasy Age Arena Lite. As you can see there's another Fantasy Age Arena down here. And there always was two different versions of the game because I wanted to make a light version to see if the kids could actually play it. It was not light enough, but it was close. I think it was close. I think it's manageable. It also helps if you're like into certain types of games as a kid too. If you're a parent that's already gotten your kid into like strategy board games in a sense. Yeah, I think that you could take the low end of a lot of these age ranges. Summit is again any age here for the greens. Summit is a sort of a newer one, but pretty simple. Tested successfully pretty much, but I want to test it a few more times, especially with the younger kids who didn't want to play it, even though that was the reason they came over. And that's the reason I made it for the younger kids to play, and then they bailed out on me and only the older ones played. And it worked well, but again, it was more for the young kids, and I kind of prefer, although it helps having the older kids to test it because again, then they'll be able to help me work out the kinks of the very simple games themselves because they're, intelligent enough at this point. Again, my sister also, being that she's an adult, she's also quite smart. She would be very helpful for a lot of these. She has been, I should say, very helpful for. We played several rounds of Black Dragon's Lair, like I said. She hasn't played yet Fantasy Age Combat, the card game, but she definitely could. I want her to soon. The older kids have a couple times. It's gone well. I think we're going to be playing it soon here, hopefully. No one else other than the older kids have tried Fantasy Age Arena Lite. We'll be coming back to that soon. Pretty fun game. There's a little more involved in that one than some of these other ones. Very kind of sit down, simple ones. Black Dragon's Lair is one that I want to kind of figure out. It needs everything works well. It just needs some kind of maybe mechanisms in order to make gameplay progress faster. So that'll be something in the future to look at. But again, that one, Black Dragon's Lair, Fantasy Age Combat, the card game, those are two Fantasy Age games that are both like pretty much ready to go. Fantasy Age Arena, the light version, is probably also ready to go. Back down here, I do have ideas for like some sets of games to put out. So one that we have Fantasy Age Trainees collection, so Black Dragon's Lair, Fantasy Age Combat, Fantasy Age Arena Lite, and then also Fantasy Age Chess. Those will be 3 or 4, that is, and maybe also Fantasy Age Civilizations, the card game. I'm not sure if I want that in the trainee set or not. There's, I think, 9 right now, 9 games. Maybe if we make one more, then we'll put that in the trainees. And then there's also the adepts set of the more difficult fantasy age games, more not necessarily adult, but the bigger kid games. Then of course, yeah, Dice Dash. That's one of our first Wildlands games. We talked a little bit about Wildlands universe last time. We'll maybe just show some quick pics this time of some of the AI artwork, which is what we're going to be focusing on a fantasy age here in a bit. So yeah, Dice Dash, that was tested once, a couple other times by me just alone, tested once as a group. Actually, how many of us? 5 of us, I believe, played. It was pretty fun. Is a wacky game, kind of sort of random. You never really know what's going to happen. Fun. Humans versus Zombies, very, very new idea, but I think it's gonna work out well quickly. So again, I wanted another easy kid sort of game. There's a little bit more to it than most of these other any age games. Maybe not Black Dragon's Lair. That one's actually a little more advanced, like Humans versus Zombies will be. But they're still playable by pretty much any age, especially if they have a little bit of help from an adult. Then you got down here Fantasy Age Chess we mentioned. That's pretty much testable. I haven't actually tested it myself yet. Humans versus Zombies hasn't even really been created yet. If this was really in an order of development, I guess Fantasy Age Chess would still be up here probably. And honestly, Fantasy Age Arena, but Humans versus Zombies will be made quickly, hopefully. So, but Fantasy Age Chess is basically ready to be tested. I haven't tested it fully myself, but I've kind of given it a couple half goes, just kind of see. But it'll definitely need a bit more testing. But that's one that I also want to, just like this one again, because they're the 10 to 12 range, and that's how old my oldest niece is right now. She's 12, going on 13 soon-ish, I guess, kind of. So I think this is when I kind of want to get in some testing of these games. My utility is appalling, but also this one, because it's a 13 to what was it, 13 to 15 range for the advanced fantasy age arena game. I'll probably try to see if she can play all 3 of these and hope that she can manage these 2. And then what do we have here? Wildlands Kids card game. I think I talked about that too. That'll be the coming up with several card games. Wildlands will have its own. It'll be much more simple card game. We have Surprise, another Wildlands game. That one would be testable basically as soon as I put a little bit of effort into doing all the finishing touches, pretty much. That's why it's basically a version 0. In its first phase of an alpha version is what that would mean. To me, at least, that's what I meant it to mean. Same with the kids card game. It's pretty much testable. I just need to kind of get the cards ready. What else we got? Then we got Fantasy Age Chess Warzone. Say that 5 times fast. Even without the Warzone part. That one again is pretty much at the same, a little behind, I guess, Fantasy Age Chess, because there's more involved to it with it. Again, more advanced almost version you could think of it as. Then we have kind of in the middle. That's why it's like an orange color instead of yellow or red. So Beyond Lumina Space Conquest, sort of. I kind of think of it as like maybe probably about a 12 plus kind of game. And again, the story's 13 plus is what I have it rated as. And that's mostly just because of not because the content is mature or like slightly mature or anything like that. It's just that it could be maybe difficult to follow if you're not old enough to follow it, you know. So I think 12, 13 plus is probably a good range. So that's what this game probably is there. But I didn't want to quite make it. It's probably not going to be like a red 13 to 15 age range kind of game. It's probably going to be a little more simple than that. But due to Beyond Lumina, the story itself being 13 plus, I figured I'd make it sort of a in between there. Quiver, it's something I'm sort of working on there with another TCG. Then we got Fantasy Age Combat, the a game that's actually slightly almost testable as well. Actually, may be testable. It's with the as we go down here, we get into more complex games as well. So sometimes the testing may take a bit longer, especially when I'm doing it just on my own, and especially when it's a game that's like better played with 4 players, and I'm trying to play 4 different players at one time. That makes games take a lot longer. So some of these games, it'll be easier once I have like maybe a core of game testers, and that's kind of my family's becoming that slowly. It's becoming more and more of a thing. So that is also helping these games probably get put out there sooner rather than later, hopefully. Then of course we have a good old Fantasy Age tactical card game. That's the granddaddy there, the big kahuna. Then we have another Wildlands game, Power Up. They're basically games I already had ideas for, but then I just gave them the Wildlands title, put them under that umbrella, that universe, to give them a little more, give it a little more pizzazz, I guess. So it's not just a generic. I mean, they wouldn't have ended up being like super generic games or anything at the end anyway. We would have, put some fluff around there, but I decided to fluff it now and fluff some of them the same way with the Wildlands series. And then also we have, I just came up with Neo Heroes. I don't know if that's what I'm going to call it. I'm still kind of working on it, but we have Neo Heroes battle card game. And we have Neo Heroes, the Super Showdown, which again, this Super Showdown Arena Battler was something I already came up with. Neo Heroes, again, just kind of slapped that on there after I decided on a Neo Heroes battle card game. These are, again, just ideas that are going to be coming to fruition at the bottom here. That's why they're all 0 still. Fantasy Civilizations, and Civilizations, the card game. Actually, this one may be slightly more ahead now, but I'm not sure, because really both of these are almost, could be testable after just like a few rounds of really getting into making them. Same with Power Up. Trading card game has been progressing well. It could probably even be above Combat, but again, Combat's ready to go. They're probably both should be above the Quiver trading card game. That's not actually ready to be tested just yet at all. And they should be above Beyond Lumina, which I haven't even decided on what that is yet. They would probably be right up about here, because I do want to come up with Surprise. This is one of the next ones I'm really going to be working on here, Wildlands Surprise. And that'll be a couple then Wildlands games. Oh, and then a couple other ones here, I guess. What else do we have? Yeah, Temple Knight Battle Royale. That's something that just kind of just came up with. Some of these other ones, Fantasy Age Tactics, I don't even know really what that's going to be yet. I forgot, is what I should say. I had an idea for it a while back, and that I didn't put down the thing I should have. Then we have Guildmaster. It's an older idea that I haven't put any more effort into. Kingdom Cards, same thing, card RPG. Dogma, these are all just games I haven't put anything into. Fantasy Age Dominions, that's Combat and Civilizations combined at some point, maybe. Idle Discord MMO for Fantasy Age, of course. Then we have a few my tabletop games listed. Most of these just based on different story names that names of stories I have. These, of course, being the ones slightly testable. Over the top, we've played this one as a family a couple times, maybe just once, or some of the games, because they're not necessarily tabletop. It's not necessarily a traditional TTRPG. It's games that are like it, board games that are like it, I guess you could say, a series of them. Then here's the potential sets. This is what I'm kind of working on, getting all the games that would be like probably in these, up to the first 3 probably here, and I'm basically almost there. And some of these other ones, like the beginner set, that one wouldn't take too long. That's kind of like a hodgepodge of everything there. But anyway, that's the everything in development right now, just to give you slightly an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the games we got going on here. All right. You don't need to see that. But I do have something a little easier. No. Do have something a little easier to see. you understand what you're looking at there, instead of just a bunch of random stuff. Let's see. Okay, so that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let me go with this. See if this will work. Guess I could have just. There. I did it again. All right. I could just switch tabs, but here we go. Now we got it back. All right, here's the artwork we need. This is Fantasy Age now related specifically. I do have one other thing. I wonder if I kept it or not now. Yeah, I think I did. Well, where did I put it? That's a good question. Where would I? Oh, downloads, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so never mind. That's not what I wanted. I probably don't have it, so that's fine. But yeah, I was going to show we had I think it was just a paint document of the like spell cards that we needed. If I have it here still. Nope. All right. But yeah, I'll just get a list going real quick of that. Okay. So yeah, here's the humans, obviously, then the dwarves, the elves, and the giants. The names will kind of give you an idea of what perhaps we want them to look like. And okay, yeah. That's that. There we go. Sorry, I got like 5 different windows I'm working with here on 2 screens, so bear with me. There's those, and then the other ones would just be our typeless units. We want some troll art. That's like we'll see some again a more new AI generated artwork for some of these. Troll is included in some new stuff I did. So I'm not going to show the old artwork that I generated. Maybe I'll go flash through them quick, but I don't really want to because there was only a few that I need to clean it up and just take the few that I really liked, and then maybe we'll flash through those. But if you want to see the older AI generated artwork for some inspiration, you can go to the first episode of the Foundry Vodcast, check it out. But otherwise, I trust artists don't need that much help looking at AI generated artwork to get ideas for how to do this kind of stuff. Again, just looking for like a cartoon animated style that you'll see. Nothing like too crazy yet, and some other just generic things like the colors: humans being blue, elves being green, dwarves being yellow, and giants being red. The black dragon, of course, being black. The troll being a gross pasty green color because he's like a swamp troll. And then our spells, just put down some spell names here, and maybe they'll. Let's do this. Draw a card. Recruit a character. Swap places. Wait, swap character with one in your hand. Resurrect a previously defeated character, because that's the name of the card. It's going to be Resurrect. Dispel or cancel any spell or effect. I'm not sure, Scour or Scry. The next cards in your draw pile, plus some other there, and add one, I guess I could say, and add one, and enlist a character, substitute, substitute acts as a blocking character. So if you wanted to do like some kind of like a, like a soldier jumping in front of another soldier or something, that would work perhaps. And we got purge characters from each player's hand. So again, that'll be like a kind of discard sort of deal, of course. Now we got solidarity, which is going to be different. Some of these will be different between like the two different. We're talking about the traditional trading card game and also that Fantasy Age Combat, the card game, which will share a lot of the same art, not all the same art as the bigger trading card game. Recent, but that doesn't mean that things do the same things, because they're different games. Reset. Discard and redraw. But yeah, I would just keep it there. This might not be exactly what they do, but it's close enough that the artwork would match. So I'm not too worried. Just make something that's kind of like throwing the hand away, but you're also you're redrawing. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. These are just effect cards or whatever. Maybe we'll have some cooler. There are going to be obviously some cooler effect cards than reset, like we'll see in a second probably. We got put that, cleanse each player's hand of some cards. Cleanse is the name of the thing. Although again, just look here real quick how different we're talking about in the other game for this one as well. Actually, yeah, no, that one's good, and I think some of the other ones are too. I think they're all good. Yeah, they're all good. Okay, so back where there's only a couple more. Where are we at here? So rotate. This one would be different. So this one, all right. Rotate one. We'll say this is switch cards with player to left, and rotate two is characters switch places on field. So totally different, obviously, because one game you're playing with one deck, and the other you're not. And then we have negate spells. Simple one. Hopefully some cool artwork for Black Hole. Discard. Everyone discards and redraws. Discards hand, so you understand. It's everything. Everything's going. Black hole, everything goes. And then finally, banish character. Simple. All right. So here, if you need it for reference, those are basically the artwork we need right now. That's what we're looking for. So basically, be a complete version of at least combat the card game to play, and and that'll also give most of at least I think maybe most of what we would need for some testing. I mean, we can test. We're testing the games already. It's mostly just getting artwork, so we don't need it necessarily even for a prototype. Probably going to make a better prototype soon here for the card games now that I have my printer that can do decent card stock. I would prefer to have some art to do in it, even if it's just prototype cards, but you know, if I just have to do some like text-based cards, maybe if I just even do like a sample version of what the card would look like in place of where the pictures would be. I could use the AI artwork, but instead of wasting the ink, maybe I would just put like I don't know, the name of the card even bigger and even bigger print there, because it's also going to be where it would normally be at the top of the card. I think I did show sort of what the card's going to maybe look like, but some of this stuff's going to change though, but it'll basically be, you know, like your standard card, bigger. I also used I used a Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon card for examples as well here to kind of get my point across. So I would say like the size of the portrait, length, height-wise with the Yu-Gi-Oh! And probably width-wise as Pokemon has it, like the whole way to the border there. But height-wise, taking up most of the card, and then just a bit at the top. Probably less than both of these cards, probably about this much space at the top for all the information you would need, the name and everything as Pokemon has there. Again, just as much as this down here for everything else that would be needed. It's kind of, I mean, your standard looking card, but we do want to sort of stress, I'd like to stress the picture like Yu-Gi-Oh! Does on all the cards, but then of course, I have some creative. This one would be different. Like I said, we would probably have, especially as the artwork will be matching the real true trading card game, which will have different iterations of maybe probably all the different types of cards at some point, in you know the very far future probably. We could always make, you know, a collector's version of this, but again, you don't need to continue to get cards for this kind of game. It's not one of those kind of games. But I do have ideas that I think, I mean, it's certainly different than any other card game does, and I think it is much better, in my humble opinion. We shall see. I would obviously need the advice of like people who know more about that kind of business market. Anyway, there's that. You can always go back to that if you need, but that's about the end of that for us. Now, I guess lastly, sort of last thing we're going to be checking out now is just the that new artwork. Once I get all the, okay, here we go. Again, AI generated. Just use this for, I mean, just be aware that it was made by AI. So it's not something you could use for anything other than, like I said, I would maybe use it for prototype purposes, but that would be about it. I'm hoping to use it mostly for your inspiration, to give you and just to give you a sort of an idea of, again, what I'm looking for in all these different types of characters. The list we just saw that is still on the screen, in fact. So just continue to reference that as we go through here. I don't have anything for the effect or spell cards here, but we do have all the characters. Not here. We're the new ones. I didn't do all the characters. I did all the race types. I did everything except Black Dragon, because we have a lot of cool Black Dragons already. I guess we'll look through those maybe we'll look through the old ones of those at least. But here's the new stuff. Here are the humans starting there. Even though that's not these aren't the first ones I generated last. It was yesterday at some point I did these. Okay, again, humans are blue. We're looking for just standard brown leather, armor with some blue trim. Not too much metal. Again, we have several levels or whatever, if you will. They're not necessarily levels. They're different cards. They're different types of characters, but they're sort of one is better than the next is better than the next. So we had the trainee, the soldier, the veteran, the adept, and the hero, and that's where I got the ideas for those two collections, the two Fantasy Age collections, of course, the trainees collection and the adepts collection. So think of that. They're also probably increasing in age as they go, and this is actually a perfect sort of like style of art, I think, is what we're going for. And also some kind of plains city, plains training grounds, if it's for the trainee, war battlefield, even perhaps for the more advanced cards. For the backgrounds, of course, it's kind of what we're looking for. And I think we decided, of course, like most of the time, the human race is just dealing, we're sword and shield. And it would be versatile though, any kind of weapon really, but the sword masters, I suppose. They're a young one, perhaps a little too much metal there, but yeah. These most of these I think turned out pretty decent for what we're kind of going for. They don't have to be so portrait-like either. Again, use your artist discretion on all of it. I trust that artists have their own style enough that they can handle it from here, and they don't need me telling them much else other than keep them in like leather with blue trim, and it can be increasingly more metal armor as you increase in the through the 5 different ones toward the last 2 being the human adept and the human hero. Next, check out the elves. More of these. I didn't do too many humans. Actually, I did more elves than anything. But a lot of these, again, are pretty good. And now we got the right colors. So that was one of the reasons I did more of these, I guess. I should have done more dwarves because, I'm still not too happy with... One of the things I want to do, we'll see the giants. I'm happier with how these giants turned out than the previous ones I've done that we looked at. So that's a little better. But the dwarves here this time leave a little bit to be desired. I should have generated a few more of those. Again, AI generated stuff here. These are decent. Again, use your own cartoon style, but keep it pretty simple cartoon. Happy, childlike. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. We can do some more advanced, cartoon looking stuff later on. We actually checked out some of that last time. Just a little bit of like wolf pictures, but yeah, keep it pretty simple for now. I mean, I guess the picture doesn't necessarily have to be simple, but the art style doesn't have to be too flashy. Nice, just a nice animation. Or again, whatever your style is. If you only have one style, that works too. Send it my way, because maybe it won't be the very first thing we use, but hey, maybe that means that in the future, I would always, if the funds allow for it, I would love to reimburse anybody whose stuff we use, but I just, of course, cannot promise anything at all yet, or ever, perhaps. Who knows? But that's just a dream, right? But who knows? Maybe we can make it a reality. We're hoping to make all this a reality. It's hopefully not just going to be me trying to make games on my own, but having the help, support monetarily, and creatively of you folks out there. And again, other people that I've been meeting around here, and hopefully we'll form a nice, perhaps the core of Nerds Templar Gaming. Who knows? Again, just the elves again, they're pretty good. Keep them in green, keep them about the same again. They can be maybe in a little bit of lighter clothing looking like this. More of like a scout type, as we have what Elf Scout was the first one technically, or Elf Conscript. or like an elf trainee basically, and then an elf scout, and then a ranger, right? So yeah, you can keep them sort of in a lighter thing like this. Keep them in green, brown and green. Foresty background again. Of course, the forest elves, wood elves, but they're fantasy elves, right? So they're not like the little elf creatures. But most of these again are pretty good. Pretty good with age. Again, want them increasing in age. We're talking about elves here. The older ones could have facial hair. We're not talking about elves without any facial hair. But say they get it, it starts growing in a little later than it does for humans, and especially for dwarves, and even giants, because they're probably going to be hairier creatures than most. But they are still normal. I mean, they're still normal people, as we'll see. Those are the elves. Let's check out these failed dwarves, basically, because we want dwarves, again, maybe a little shorter than the humans on average, and also stockier than humans on average, but still not like short guys, like super short guys. This one was pretty good, I think. Maybe work out the age, but again, the dwarves here can have full beards much earlier than the elves, for sure, earlier than humans would. But yeah, I don't like how short all these kind of turned out. This one's not bad here. He looks like he's a young dwarf, maybe a bit short. And we're talking about underground mountainous background. You can maybe do again for the later ones, the older ones that are perhaps engaged in battle, if you want to do something like that art wise, because that would be fine. Doing any type of scenery, action. It doesn't have to be these portraits or anything like that. I had some we looked at last time. A lot of them were on battlefields as the cards increase, the higher level ones, or whatever, the older characters, their images were basically all like on the battlefield, leading the armies or whatever. So you can do that too for these. And again, we're talking about yellow, maybe even turning toward gold as you go into the metal armor for the dwarves. Think of it as, dwarves like riches, so gold for them. Gold for the dwarves, green, foresty elves, blue because it was basically the one left over for humans, and red blood, red war fighting for the giants. These are a little better because they're more cartoon-like, and they're also more human-looking. They're also not him as much, but they're also human-colored, which is what we're also looking for. So keep that in mind. Some of them might even be as ugly as this dude in the future. That's why I saved him, I guess. And also this guy, some of these guys. This one was not bad for like a younger giant, but make his arms the right length. He's like a gorilla here. Again, AI things. Talking about like a wasteland, desert, sort of, not necessarily desert, but sort of like that city. It would maybe, this is actually a nice background for the city there. I like that. Think of it almost like an orcish city, but like slightly more industrious and less destroyed. But they are still a very warlike people. But they're also not inherently evil. Let's keep that in mind too. They might tend toward evil more so than the other races, perhaps, or the evil that they tend toward might be more overt in that, they're just like wrathful beings if they go dark. Whereas, someone else like a dwarf might just be super greedy, right? Which is still evil, but it's maybe not necessarily as visible as the wrath of a giant that's gone bad. So yeah, just bear that in mind. That none of the races are evil. None of the four races here are evil. They're all people. They're all just like us, just different shapes and sizes, I suppose. Really, is what it comes down to. And different civilizations, sort of, because that's how it is. Nah, I think. Oh yeah, we have two different things here. This one's not for Fantasy Age Combat, but this is for the trading card game. We have some different like magical beings, and here I'll just go through quickly some more of the golem creatures. I'm thinking more of going with like a purple like this for their magical energy that's spewing from them. But a lot of these I think turned out really great. I like the ancient ruins there, background. Yeah, I'm not going to say a whole lot more about those, but if that's something you're interested in, again, go check out the other stream. You may scroll through until you find when I'm actually going through the pictures. But all the ones I went through last time, all of these are also um, the actual trading card game proper images, pictures, artwork we're looking for that, but also for combat, the card game. This is the only one that we're not looking for combat. And here's the trolls. Some trolls. Most of these turned out pretty good. Uh, they were, for whatever reason, they were going for like some kind of troll shaman thing in the swampy background. And then I told it some different stuff, so we became more brutish. These are pretty good, actually. Whether you want to make it like a more simple like this, or you want to go or like that, or you want to go a little crazier with something like this or this perhaps. Whatever you're thinking. But that's the kind of troll we're looking for, like a trundle like troll, not like a little troll, not quite like a not really like an Elder Scrolls troll, more like a more like a League of Legends trundle, or like just a straight up ugly troll guy. Maybe this is more like a D&D sort of troll, perhaps, or like a even a World of Warcraft, but more like a is more bestial. He's not quite. These guys are not like us. They might look human-like, but they are not. They're beasts. You could just think of them that way. So there's the lineup of those. There's another a good variety, I think, to maybe spark some imagination, perhaps. I like that one. That one too. That one would be like one of my. I think that one would work for like a really strong one. He looks like even that one maybe. I don't know. I just like his fur cloak. But again, he looks a little too like he knows too much what he's doing. We want to keep him still more bestial than this, I think. So not that they couldn't maybe have some kind of hat on, some kind of helmet, like a medium helmet like that. Um, I don't know about the whole. Yeah. You know what? I don't know about the whole cloak and helmet and bracers thing, and boots and stuff like that. Keep it pretty simple with whatever clothing he'd have on. Uh, Maybe some like bone stuff. Uh, Same with like the earrings and things like that. Maybe, but keep it all like bones and maybe wood. I don't know. Yeah, but that's it for the troll there, and that's it actually for all the new pictures that we did. We generated AI like. Let's just look at some dragons again real quick, because why not? We didn't get to see any this time. Look at all the dragons. A wide range of ages of dragons here. I think, if you want to focus on just one, you can do any. You can do multiple. Uh, Most of these are quite good, I think. Just looking for a black dragon. A cool mountain background would be nice. Flying, snarling like this or something would be cool. He doesn't have to be as big as the mountain, but I guess he could be if you wanted to make him like that. But yeah, that one really cool. Uh, Same here. He's just humongous. And most of these would work out. I like the symmetry in that one. I think I mentioned before. Yeah. But never mind the cameras there. Sorry to mess around with Windows again. Make sure everything is going all right. All right. Yeah. It's a pretty cool one too. Most of them are cool. Wouldn't really call the younger ones cool, but they're still decent art to follow for what I'm looking for. If you want to make some, I guess if you want to make some of the younger ones, because we could use a couple. Why not? Not for Combat the card game, Fantasy Age Combat the card game, but for the bigger one perhaps. But for now, for Combat, if you want to just do one of these probably would be fine. Just an adult dragon. Scary. This one seems a little less scary if you want to go with something that would be slightly less frightening. You can maybe try that. Not that we won't go for more frightening ones in the future like this or that. Especially with that camera down there. Whew. Bone chilling. That one's pretty spooky too, but I like that one. Same there. He's like buff. Basically a human dragon. Don't make a human dragon. Make it more like a normal dragon. Again, AI does whatever it feels like, pretty much. So there is that. That's all I believe. And again, our spells there or effects. And that would be all we need if we wanted to complete a set of artwork for Fantasy Age Combat, the card game. And as the name implies, and as we saw in the list, which is now Gonzo, I guess. Yeah, I moved it somewhere. Let's do this. And then I did, it's right here. Oh, that to the front. It's not at the front anymore. Sure, I can do that. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So it might be a bit, but yeah, we do have the Fantasy Age Combat is a game itself, so probably some of this artwork would eventually be used for that. And again, we're talking Fantasy Age as a series, so several of them could be used in the future for other games, depending on which ones. And of course, don't forget Black Dragon's Lair. We need an awesome Black Dragon for that. In fact, you know what? I talked about my one of my buddies at the comic shop that I made recently having just recently getting a 3D printer. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if maybe anyone. Actually, I know one of you out there because you mentioned it to me something about 3D rendering. Well, if we could get something made, we could get some artists to make something to be 3D rendered. I do have a guy that could then 3D print that, and we could have our first real Black Dragon prototype piece, and I could use that for the actual Black Dragon's Lair instead of the stand-ins I've been using when we play it as a family. So that's another thing. Again, anything like that, if you just want to do something else that's completely out of left field, like paper mache or macaroni art of something, or Beyond Lumina art, if you are interested in that story, that one of the only story we have currently on the channel, and you want to make some artwork based on that, like I did at the end of the first few episodes, which is terrible. But if you want to do that, feel free. We're not just limiting it to this, and also not just limiting it to artwork. Any other creative ideas you have, you would like to submit, we'll take any free stuff, right? Speaking of free stuff, we will be giving stuff back. Maybe you won't be. I don't know exactly what you'll be interested in here as we grow this our own business, our own company, our own game company. We'll have tons of stuff to give out, and we will be very generous. I'll assure you of that now. As far as like in the meantime, though, I do have the Pokemon streams coming along. Once we hit 100 subscribers, I promise to give out a Pokemon product, some Pokemon TCG thing. So we'll do that, and as we grow from there, I'll be giving out more and more stuff. So that's just in the meantime, I suppose. But if that's not something that interests you, or other game giveaways, perhaps like Lorcana or Yu-Gi-Oh, so you can see some of my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff here from the last stream. Then yeah, eventually we will be giving out some stuff here, and I would really love to make, like I said, I can make some cards now myself. If we have any sort of artwork that I could use, especially again, I was thinking of Beyond Lumina stuff. If we have some cool art from that someone makes in like a trading card form, I would totally make some trading cards, not like a trading card that you would use in battle or anything like that, but just some art cards to collect. And we could always totally give away some Beyond Lumina art cards and different stuff like that. So there's plenty of options, especially as we become a game company ourselves. I mean, just think of all the possibilities. And you can contribute, guys. You can be a part of this, as much or as little, I guess, as you want. You can be a part of this. And well, I'll give you the more and more means to do so as we go here. But yeah, just think about it, especially just joining the Discord, just liking and subscribing for now, joining our Discord, building up this community, but playing whatever part, again, that you would like to play. We can make this happen, this and much more. The more people, the more good people and talented people we have involved, the better it's going to be, obviously. And again, like I mentioned last time with just the abomination that was the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, that is just the perfect example of why we need to just be done with secular entertainment and secular media and go our own way and do our own thing. And this is one way in which we can do that. Making our own wholesome, traditional, even more enjoyable entertainment, whether it be stories that could become, in the future, whether it be my stories or someone else's like me, stories that could become shows or movies, films in the future, due to, other good people, other like-minded good people who would take them and run with them that way. Or whether it be that, or whether it be the board games here, different kinds of games, board games, trading card games, tabletop games, maybe even, again, video games. The possibilities are not endless, but there's certainly a whole lot of them. So yeah, join us if that seems to be something that interests you. We're backing out, we're opting out of the woke culture, and we're just doing our own thing. That's what we're about here. That's what Nerds Templar is about, and giving people, other people of goodwill, the means to have good, wholesome entertainment, right? Because it's not out there right now. It's very much lacking, and there might be a little bit out there, but there's basically none. So come on by, join us. I guess in closing, let's just, I did mention something about going through the wildlands art. I think I can do that real quick. So let's go. Is this it? Yeah, all right. Start real quick. Look at these three lion, Rusty the Red Lion, perhaps. I'm not sure on his name yet, on any of the names yet, but I believe maybe going with Rusty the Red Lion. Yeah, not too many stipulations here, just a red humanoid lion type of dude. Actually, I was thinking, like the old temple knight sort of get up where you have like the tabard, and it would maybe have some kind of checkered white and colored, some color checker pattern on it, or some other pattern, perhaps, maybe not checkered. And they'd all have their heraldry, right? Maybe we can even get like if someone would perhaps like to do this, do like a knight's, like the same knight's armor for each of these characters, because again, temple nerds, temple knights, and then put them in their color, whatever color goes with them, their respectable color, and then yeah, just like give that like white and colored checkered pattern and put them all, and then maybe even give them a heraldry of some sort, like some kind of symbol, maybe just the head of their animal, like a lion's head, a bear's head, a rabbit head. Why not? I think that'd be great. But I thought the idea of putting them in the colored plus the colored and white checkered tabards would be pretty cool, and all of them in like the matching ones with their own special colors. Yeah, because I'm a nerd. That's why this channel is called Nerds Templar, right? So we are nerds. So there, yeah, there's the rest of Rusty, Red Lion. I like probably going for more like I like both of these. He's maybe a little more epic, but yeah, this one would maybe be pretty good. Actually, I think I also mentioned this one. I really like this one as well, because they don't really have to be warriors necessarily. If you want to just do like an adventurer type of character, that would work too. This one also is pretty decent from back first few we were looking at, because I had to jump around for some of these. I don't have them really named the way I like yet, which would put them in a better order. I could probably also delete a few of these, but yeah, I don't know. Probably don't have to. Here, maybe his name's Chili the Blue Bear. Looking for one maybe more like this dude here, a big bear, like that. The art's funny, the art style. Not bad here either. That's a good one too. That one's not bad either, but it may be a little bigger than that. That one's pretty good, but he looks a little angry. That one's all right, but he doesn't have to be bare-chested. No pun intended. Then we have the rabbit, which is supposed to be green. I'm sorry. It's going to be green. It's another one, just like Fantasy Age. I switched it after I made some art. So we have Springy, or Spring, maybe. Perhaps, again, these names are not set in stone at all. The green rabbit. I think I do have some green rabbit pictures as well. So again, same thing, just dealing with like a slightly older but still young, late teens, perhaps you could think of it like that. 18-year-old characters here, like not too bad here. That's a pretty decent one. I think that was one of my tops. So yeah, so those, and I do believe, yeah, up here we have some green rabbits. Made them more mage-like. Don't make them mage-like. Make them either warrior, knight, warrior-like, or adventurer. I would say for now, keep it at that. I love this one though. To stay away from that for now, but I love that so much. The beard, it's just so good. And oh yeah, and also for the rabbits, I'd say this is a really good one too. That's a very good one. I want to keep them more like a hare instead of like a bunny rabbit, right? I think a pretty big difference like between that and that. But even that one's not completely terrible. But yeah, I think more like a hare, looking a wild hare more than a bunny rabbit. Right, and then we have Peel, the yellow monkey. We'll look at the green ones first. His name's Peel, maybe, and he's supposed to be yellow. The green worked out because it was giving me these Wukong-like monkeys. which works because he could be like the monk type character, right? Monk for monkey. But the yellow didn't work quite as well. I guess it could still work, but didn't work as well as the green. It was giving me like the jade monkey, right? So, but still, yeah, yellow, and these are still good pictures to maybe go off of some of them. Don't go with any kind of pointy hat like that. Maybe if you can make a traveler's pointy hat work somehow. That one's not too bad, actually. That's a kind of a decent pointy hat. But again, keep them a little younger than this, perhaps. Not quite as little as these guys, maybe. They could be used in the future, probably, in some other Wildlands games. If you want to make one that's maybe that like that, then, I mean, you know what? Be my guest. If you go with a couple like you did with, maybe if you, like I said, I should say, I don't know if you'll want to or not, but like I said, for the fantasy age stuff, do a couple of different ages if you want. Why not? What happened here? Oh, I never X'd out of that. There we go. The rest of the monkeys now. The yellow ones here, which they should be, again, yellow, peel, the yellow monkey. Doesn't have to have an orange or any kind of fruit. That was a decent one there. Decent age, probably. But again, maybe one younger than that, maybe one older than that. You want to do 3. That was a good one too there, probably. And, well, that was 4. Don't have to go over, well, okay, only 2 other ones. We'll go over them. Yeah. We would round out 6. We also have 2 others that would round out an 8-player game if that would be needed. But for now, we'll just go over the 6 we did last time. Here is Pads, the Orange Fox. That's a decent one. Again, no real stipulation other than, you know, keep them in whatever adventurers, travelers, warriors, or knights gear. You can do a few different ages if you want. Keep them, probably color them the color of them that they're supposed to be, as well as their gear, obviously. The backgrounds, you can feel free to do whatever you want with the backgrounds. I think I was probably just putting in like sparkling orange, you know, background or something like that, just to make them give them some kind of flashy background. So I guess I didn't mention that last time, but that's why you see a bunch of, like, basically all of them have that same flashy background and nothing else. That's why. So you could do that. You could do a actual background if you want, whatever. And well, I guess that was it for different stipulations. Like humanoid male. We'll probably get some female characters too, though, for this game. It's not necessarily the same as, you know, it's not a war game, so it's a little different. And then lastly, pictures are just all over the place. All right. I'm not sure at all. This is the name I'm least sure about. I think maybe I'm going to go with Lucius or Lucius, if you will. But yeah, not sure. The Purple Wolf. Again, not magic. That's another anti-stipulation. We don't want magic casting like they kept wanting to do apparently for the wolf. That was a pretty decent one there. You can kind of think of them as a little more sly, but they're all good guys. That one's really good too, I think. Maybe a little older. I mean, it's a little older than perhaps you'll. They're both good, actually. You know, you can make them like I said, whatever you're feeling. If you want to make them a bunch of all of them, like the young versions, go for it. If you want to make a bunch of the older ones, go for it. If you want to make a bunch that look like this, then go for it. I do love that. I do love that. Talk about a hair. All right, that is that then. I think we'll call it a day, guys. Thanks for joining. I was off the chat thing there for a bit, but doesn't look like anyone was chatting. That's fine. That's fine. Eventually. What do we have on the schedule here coming up? We got tomorrow, Tuesday morning. That'll be our smaller Pokemon trading card game collection stream. getting back just a few packs opening. Maybe we'll open a recollection, repackaged thing as well. Maybe. And then we have Wednesday will be in the evening, will be our Beyond Lumina episode 3 live viewing, so that'll be cool. Definitely join for that. That'll be probably 6:30, maybe 7 p.m. Eastern. The morning streams usually 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern. Today it had to be a little later because I had to go to daily mass and cover for someone lecturing. And then Thursday morning we will do our quartermaster stream where we'll be talking about what we got for sale on TCG Player. It's always fun, and all the sales we've made and all the different potential things we'll put up there. And then we'll go into Friday evening, and that'll be our big Pokemon collection stream. Oh, and maybe we might have a random stream here opening some other random card game thing. You know what? I don't have anything. I do have some Lorcana packs, but I probably won't open those. So Friday evening we'll have 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing our big Pokemon collection stream. Then again, Saturday evening, that is, we will be doing the episode 4 live viewing of Beyond Lumina. And then we'll be back to Monday, like today, with the next Foundry podcast. Hopefully have some more updates on our creations. But all right, guys, that's that. I will catch you in the next one. Maybe I'll catch you on Discord. Either way, have a good one. Peace. Randy, Nerds Templar, out.